Good morning, everyone. I'm Simran Sethi, Marketing Manager at Excelon and the track lead for this session. I'm thrilled to be here. Our speaker for this current session is Eke. He is the CEO and Mautic team lead at Lighthouse Digital Marketing in Germany. He's an active contributor to open source projects since the early 2000s. He's currently the community lead at the community team at Mautic and is also a member of the Mautic Council. I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say that we're really excited to hear his insights today. Welcome, Eke.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. Hi, hello everybody. Glad to be here. This is sponsored talk. I'm glad nonetheless you come here. I think it's exciting stuff. And Simon, maybe you can roll the 2 minutes video that we prepared first before we actually dive into the presentation.
Absolutely. Let me get started with that.
Wow, that was loud. Okay. I hope you liked it and you kind of got the first point what this is all about. Today I want to talk about the rest, the details. So I guess yesterday we talked about, oh, that's the wrong presentation, too bad. Yesterday we talked about supercharging the B2B capabilities. Today we want to talk about enriching all that with the actual magic, with the automatic detection and qualification of leads. And yeah, here's the right presentation. It should be and there we go. Goodie. So this one you probably know. We are a Mautic agency located in Hanover, Germany. We do a lot of services, and in this case, we are presenting a bit of a product. Now, this is stuff that's not 100% new. What we are doing here has been done before, but differently as standalone products, not integrated with Mautic and with their own limitations. But the question is, why in the first place do you want this magic? What is it good for? What are we talking about in the first place? Is company detection. Maybe if you did not follow closely, this is about working with companies. It is about being able to act on companies with Mautic, and Floodlight product, the Floodlight service is there for detecting and qualifying companies. So you have anonymous visitors, and from those alone, you know this company has been there, and this is what they did, and this is their business data. We talk about the details. So we know companies have been there, and we have some information about those companies. And for some, no kidding, some really say, wow, that's really cool to know. That cannot be it. You want to do much more about that, and we call that inbound account-based marketing. Account-based marketing, as in company-oriented marketing, sometimes is outbound, like I want to identify the right targets for my business and then reach out to them. In this case, it's inbound. We know what clients we like, and when they come to our website and show activity, then that's a strong signal. But what do we do with it? First of all, let's repeat one thing. Floodlight gives you static data like company size, company revenue, company industry, company tech stack, whatever. Mautic, and everything we do is in Mautic, and Mautic gives me all the rest. So behavioral data, what leads have been there, anonymous or not, how active have they been, what areas have they been interested in. So that is the foundation of the action. And now we have that action. First thing is we think about different scenarios. One very easy scenario is we have an existing customer, and Floodlight is telling us, or Mautic rather, with the help of Floodlight, is telling us this specific customer has been very active lately, and because they obviously they want to purchase a different machine, or they want to purchase a follow-up contract, or whatever you have, or maybe they even consider canceling something. So in the good setup, we know we have all the clients that are our current customers in the system. We know they are existing business, and when something happens there, then customer success management is notified, not new business sales. So that's one good take here. And now that alert has been sent, of course, the details are very interesting. So what exactly have they been doing on the website? Maybe even whatever, what locations of theirs have been doing that, or whatever can I find out. The one thing you don't know is what person did that, except there's just one person in one location. But your sales folks will be very happy to have that information upfront before the client comes up to them and does a wrong decision. If it's not an existing business, but an active prospect, so sales is already actively in conversation with someone, maybe in a tender, maybe in whatever sales situation, that's of course also very nice to know. Oh, okay, now look, those folks that we talked to 4 weeks ago, now they came back and they looked at the whatever insurance options, or at the tech specs, or whatever they did, and whatever machines they did. Maybe they want to downsize, etc. And I can give them a call right now and lead them to the right decision. Now, if we have no idea about that customer, we never talk to them, we don't have any persons to call, then one idea would of course be to find out who are the right persons to do the research, and what are the structures within the company, what is their challenges, all the things that sales folks do when they are really strategically selling. And of course, you don't want to do all this hassle if the client is not a good match for you. So the first thing you do is define your ideal client profile, the ICP. And that can be turned into a filter in Mautic, and we can say, okay, ideal client profile is this company size, this location, this industry, or that industry. And if we have matches here and they come to our website, hopefully that's not too many, because at that point you can put some actual work into this opportunity. Not only find out who are the persons in charge, but also figure out means to research more, figure out tactics for the first point of contact. If you send them a message on LinkedIn, you better think hard what you tell them, or they will never respond. Or you could also, in addition or prior to the first contact, you can also do more preparation. Some people even go the extra mile and say, okay, I can control the content of my website from Mautic. And if somebody from this company comes in, then I have some special content or some special, whatever, focus item, some hero image, offering on the website only for them. So the next time they come to the website, there's some tailor-made website content just for this large enterprise that I always wanted to get my hands on. You don't have to go that far, but you can. And again, to do all this effort, it makes sense to have really the ideal client profile. And then, of course, there are many that do not match the ICP exactly, but might still be interesting, because we don't want to let go of this business. We just don't want to put all the effort into this meager chances. So what you can do here is some automated things, like, once again, website targeting, not tailor-made, but targeted. You could also do things outside of the website, like LinkedIn retargeting based on the company, or actually print mailings. It's one example I gave yesterday to say, okay, for mid-sized company, or for rather small companies with 10 to 50 people, if they turn out to have a specific interest in Mautic, why not send them whatever, a Mauticon ticket, or an invitation to the next meetup, or something that really triggers them. And that can all be automated with Mautic, and that's beautiful, of course. So these are just examples of what you can do in different situations. First of all, you need to make sure what situation is this client in, or we don't know, it's also a valid situation, and then take action. And the hardest part, to be honest, is what do we do with the ideal client profile customer, because that takes real experienced salespeople to crack that nut. Now, not everybody has those real experienced salespeople. On the other hand, A, you can learn things. B, there are other scenarios that are much easier to handle and still very valuable. In the end, people who use this concept of inbound account-based marketing everybody loves it. Everybody is very happy with it. Most are not really happy with the way they leverage it. So they think there's still a way to go, and such a lot of manual work. And that's one of the reasons why we thought, okay, integrating this with Mautic is such a powerful thing, as opposed to having a standalone system that maybe wants to be its own automation system or whatever. So in the end, it's a very good concept, powerful concept, and by far the most B2B businesses totally worth going this route. Now, here's one great thing that we came up with, and that is a monthly discussion circle where everybody who's interested can join in. It's like a meetup group, or I don't have a proper English name for that, but where people join, bring their questions, discuss their answers. This is, of course, hosted by our experts. So people, we can give advice, but people, attendees, can also exchange their experiences and things that they tried and what worked for them and what not. And that applies to the strategy. Hey, here's a situation, I just don't know how to approach this client. And to tool, like okay, how would I best set up this filter if I want to achieve that? So every month, this 3 hour of basically training, support, and discussion. Good. So that said, let's now take a closer look at what we mean by detect and qualify. So we start off with somebody coming in as an anonymous visitor. And first thing we need to do is get the IP, because everything is based on the IP address. Luckily, Mautic has it. And so we needed to turn this IP address into the company identity. Of course, all that has to be temporarily. This IP address is not stored anywhere at any point, but we definitely need it from Mautic. And now the first really important thing we do is turn this IP address into a company. And we look at that in a minute. Now we have the identity of the company. We do what we call enrichment. We retrieve additional facts about that company. Once we have that, we know a lot more, like the industry the company is in. Now we can act. We can say, okay, we filter for the ICP, we do this, we do that, we report, we act. And then there are some other improvements that we think make sense in this inbound account-based marketing situation. For instance, we have a lot of anonymous, obviously when an anonymous lead is in the end considered to be a member of a certain company, it is still an anonymous lead. And so when we look at the company, we have an anonymous lead as a member and maybe multiple. So what we did is say, let's not just call it anonymous or IP address or something, but let's add the name of the company plus the word anonymous plus the date they came in. Let's take that as a name as long as we don't have a real name. So that's just one example how we change Mautic or improve Mautic a little bit to be able to work more efficiently. Okay, so where do we start? Oh, by the way, this is an anonymous lead name here. That's calculated on the fly. It's not the real name, first name, last name. First thing is getting the IP. As we said, it has to be non-persistent, and in many places, but specifically here, GDPR, CCPA, whatever, the privacy acts matter in many places of the world these days, and so we want to be good for those. Then the other thing is, when we have cookie consent, that may mean that we miss a lot. So the Mautic JavaScript may not be loaded or may not work or whatever, and so we don't get the IP of this visitor. So the first thing, or one improvement that we want to do here, we don't have it yet, is so-called, or a second JavaScript piece, not the MTC.js, but let's maybe MTC required JS. So a second thing which people can define as required in their consent management. It doesn't have to have a cookie. And that's one thing we always wanted to have for Mautic for other reasons, like focus items and form validation with captcha and all that. Many things break if the JavaScript is blocked just because somebody says, I don't want a cookie here. Okay, so the second JavaScript snippet, and that would then be able to transmit the IP address in a legal way. So it's tricky. But of course, we want as much coverage as we can. So we don't want to lose 70% of the visitors. We want to remain privacy compliant. We want to be universal. So we don't want to require a certain server setup, something. And of course, we don't want to break anything. That's our goal here. We always start with robust things, but we improve on the coverage thing. Now we have that IP address. Let's say 1234 has visited our website. What is that telling us? Turning an IP address into something like a company is not easy. There are ways to do that in a public way. For instance, a reverse name service lookup. You can say who, no, not who. Give me the name service record for 1234, and if I'm lucky, then leuchtfeuer.com will be returned. So the domain of the company. And now, wow, the domain, that's definitely unique and defining the company. But the fact is that only a small fraction of the companies has this set up, and in many cases, it's either the provider's domain name or none at all. So next level is what the internet folks call WHOIS database. So that's a registry of IP addresses, domain organizations, etc. So that's a bit better than DNS lookup, and that's the simple, normal way to look up a company from an IP address. But even there, coverage is not good. A lot of IPs are not recognized or not properly recognized. And then there's proprietary data out there, but really hard to find. And so, yeah, we're talking about that. So what do? We basically mix and match. We use all the available sources in the appropriate situation. If you remember the tiers that we have, we do have a free tier. And for that, we use the WHOIS lookup that is publicly available, no access needed. Well, with Floodlight data, that's our own database, it's accessed via API in the Pro tier. Now, that is already violating GDPR if consent has not been given for that. So if that consent does not exist in the Pro tier, we use WHOIS and in a local flavor. So we have the entire WHOIS database local in our Mautic. We don't have to go on the network. So we're once again completely GDPR compliant. And then there are other options where we stay local. We don't give it to any third party, which requires the hosted situation, be it with us or with partners. And then there's something else in the enterprise situation. So where does our data come from? We actually use different sources, which is undisclosed, but we do use different sources and combine them in the best possible way to keep the company as great as possible. Now, there are some more challenges. One is we need to stay B2B. We don't want to do anything with private individuals. That's like a double net. Is that the word? It's security, extra security layer to make sure GDPR is honored. For instance, we try to filter out all dial-up IPs. Also, we want to reduce the traffic and the API usage by having caching. And for instance, we also have an option to say everything who comes in with just one click, we don't care about. Those are probably bots, and they are not interested. If they are interested, they will have more than one click. We want to improve on the quality, as we said, by having ways to reduce to filter out the junk, and we're even implementing a feedback channel to learn and adjust our data. Yeah, AI is something we are already using, and this feedback will also be AI calculated. Again, quality of data is very important. Privacy is a must, and cost is the other boundary. We cannot pay too much. And honestly, there are not even ways to spend a lot of money and get perfect data, because no single source has perfect data. So the last in our row, IP address, IP to company, now company data, is what we call the enrichment. Let's take a closer look. Once again, we have the company data, the firmographics, which is the industry, might be an industry name or a key or whatever. We have business data, finance, funding, public-private, whatever, financial situation, location, all that sort of business facts about that company. And then we have the technology stack. Are they using Mautic? Are they using whatever? Adobe? Are they using JavaScript, if we care? That's also one thing we may want to filter on later. For instance, it's very important to see whether our website visitors use Mautic already or not. And then there's a third thing that we don't currently do, but are planning to do, is to add affiliated persons to this wealth of information, to say, okay, we have a lot of information on the company, we have our leads in Mautic already, and we have a second bucket, or maybe the same bucket, where we have, for instance, persons that we get from LinkedIn or from other sources, where we say, okay, here's some person on LinkedIn, here's maybe even a link to the profile or what have you. And that is very helpful when it comes to this research situation for an ICP client. Then write in the tool to see, okay, these are the persons on LinkedIn. It really saves you a lot of manual work. Okay, for this enrichment, there's much more data available than for the IP lookup. But quality is really different. That's why, once again, we use different sources and mix them as it best works. For instance, for geographical criteria, and again, try to get the best quality. On the other hand, in the free tier, we don't use a Floodlight API. Instead, we provide access to one single data provider. They are even offering a free amount of API requests, so you can have the lookup even in the free tier. And then there's one more thing to consider. That's the data structure. If you look at the data as it comes in, so this is just one example. Of course, every source has their own structures. Here, do we have the industry here somewhere? Can't see it. Let's say estimated annual revenue, or estimated or employees range, is some sort of range which might not match the same ranges or the same presentation that we have in Mautic. So this needs to be translated, or we put it into different fields, and whatever we want, we need to filter for that specifically. Okay. Once again, external sources, a lot of data. The Floodlight service compiles it into one curated pot of data, which works perfect with Mautic. Instead, in the free tier, you can access one specific source directly and work with the structure they have. Just quick reflection, GDPR has nothing to do with this, because this has nothing to do with persons, and also there's no information about the visitors who are tracking all this. Now, you did see the tiers already. I want to make clear these are, or at least the Pro tier is introduction pricing, so that will change after the introduction period. And it is not unlimited, but it has a certain amount of API requests per month. And if you want to, or if you need more because you have a high traffic website and a lot of leads, then that is going to cost you more. That's, I think, pretty natural. Where are we today? we are in in private beta. So we invite people to join that beta. Obviously, a beta phase is to achieve stability on one hand and to increase the value by changing things left and right before we really go public. We're ramping up the numbers, so we're taking up new beta users, and we require them to give us some sort of feedback. We actively talk to them and ask for reports in this and that, etc. And that's totally helpful. We want to take our time. We've been doing this for a bit, and we aim to end that early of fourth quarter this year. So that's when Floodlight for B2B will actually go live. If you want to be part of beta, you can sign up on floodlight-b2b.com right now. Same if you want to be a partner. We are also interested in talking to you and see if it is matched. So the USPs that we already had in this little video, let me repeat that. If we compare Floodlight for B2B to just a Mautic, then we have a total new functionality, something that's pure magic. If we compare it to other vendors, and there's a handful of services on the market, which are all standalone applications, they all want to install want you to install their trackers on your website. They definitely own your data. They don't have the consent-free option, and they don't have all the integration and automation that Mautic offers. So it's 4 great things that only Floodlight for B2B can give to you, and for Mautic users, for everybody in B2B, I think it's natural, and you should definitely try it out. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the really insightful session. Okay, I'm pretty sure everybody was quite riveted. We already have a couple of questions. Folks, if you have any more questions, please either post them in Q&A or in chat. Do you want to wait for a few seconds or take questions right away?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. I'll just show the questions on the stage.
Okay. You want me to read the question? Okay, this one comes from Richard. He says, a great tool is a number of companies that Floodlight API recognize comparable to other tools like Lead Info. Okay, here's in fact the name of one of those services or tools that exist out there. And I think it's one of the good ones. And I would think we're like 80–90% of those, and it will improve over time. I would not claim it's totally the same as of now. I want to be honest. One thing, by the way, speaking of Lead Info, is that came to mind, or that was really a surprise to me, is that when I talk to our own Mautic clients in the B2B world, almost all of them use something or have used something like Lead Info or the other folks out there. Some use it actively. Everybody thinks it's a cool thing. Some are still having it, but not actively using. Some stopped using it because they couldn't really handle it. So I think it's data quality is one thing. The other thing is really the skills in using it and in learning and overcoming the issues that you see and so on, the challenges in the workflow. And the other thing is really the way of automation that Mautic offers is something that the others cannot integrate with other tools. You can always send your data to HubSpot or something, but that's it. So yeah, quality, we're getting there. Let's put it that way.
Sure. I also had another question of how this compares to what others like Crunchbase do.
Now, Crunchbase is not the same. Crunchbase is one of the famous account-based marketing tools, but it's more for outbound. So if you, I think I touched on that earlier, if you do strategic selling or whatever, you name it, you want to identify your ideal customer profile once again, and then actively filter the world and find the right companies to attack. And that's totally outbound. And as I said, we do same thing, but inbound. One connection point, though, is that Crunchbase has a really good database about those companies. So linking to the Crunchbase profile of the detected company is an extra bonus that we are considering adding to Floodlight. If we say, okay, here's the profile, or here's all the company data we have in Mautic, and if we want to learn more, you can hop off to Crunchbase, for instance. There are other tools which, for instance, give you organizational structures and so on. Many are tricky, and that's kind of the magic tool set of good salespeople as well.
Okay. Thank you. Another thing that I couldn't help but wonder about was, why are you looking for partners and what do you expect from that?
Okay, I did not really explain that well. If you think of the tiers, the third tier is the hosted option. The great thing about the hosted option is that you are much better in using good data without violating GDPR. So that requires local data, and that we can only offer or typically only offer in the SaaS situation or in a hosting partner. So if we work closely with a trusted partner, then they have the data locally, and can give much better GDPR and compliance plus coverage to their clients. And by the way, it's a perfect sales proposal for SaaS providers to say, hey, when you work with us, you even have this thing for free. It might be priced in, or they might have an extra tier in their SaaS pricing. But I think it's a very attractive thing for SaaS providers to partner up here. And if you're interested, yeah, then fill in the form, give me a ring, whatever, you will find me.
Okay, all right. Thank you. These are all the questions that we had today. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Eke, for sharing all your insights. And I guess we'll see everybody around.
Okay, Simon, thank you very much for hosting this. And thanks, everybody. See you soon.
See you.